Okay, so there's a reason I'm making this video now, and not moments after the Vancouver Canucks game from last night. I think y'all recognize that I pre-record the 3 videos of the morning the night before they're actually uploaded. This is so I can get my beauty sleep and to stay up late all night watching movies. Okay, no, we're not gonna talk about that, but there's a reason I wanted to make this specific Canucks-related video the afternoon after Vancouver's loss at the hands of the Edmonton Oilers, because I think this topic deserved a good night's sleep before actually diving into it. Today, I wanted to talk about Canucks superstar Elias Pettersson, who is still getting paid $11.6 million a season. He'll be making that amount of money till 2031-2032, and who, so far this year, has 1 point in 2 games played. That's not like the end of the world. It's been 2 games. Points will come, hopefully. But yesterday's game was quite intriguing in that a lot of the conversation post-game was focused around that Elias Pettersson and what he did or didn't do out there on the ice, whether or not Elias Pettersson has bounced back. Spoiler alert, a lot of Canucks fans were complaining yesterday that he hadn't, and that the Pettersson from last season that was not good, not productive, not an 11.6 caliber player was back. Here's a tweet from Satyar Shah from yesterday's third period. There's so little patience with Elias Pettersson on this website, Twitter, and our 650 text inbox. It would do wonders for everyone's mental health if Pettersson would impact the game offensively here in the third. Lol. And there are so many replies. Hey, Pettersson has been MIA for 21 months. How much more patient can people be? Well, Sat, we've been waiting on this guy ever since he signed his fat contract. Going on 2 years now. Define little patience. He got our best forward traded and has quite quit on this team for close to 2 years. We're out of patience. This will anchor the Canucks for years. The assessment on Pettersson has been a disaster. The writing has been on the wall for a time and management doubled down. And this is a bust. Not a great start, Sat says. Praying he somehow turns it around because the way he's playing, a trade won't be easy either. And a bunch of other social media platforms, the Canucks post-game thread on the subreddit, it was filled with Elias Pettersson conversation, mostly negative, and I can't say I don't relate to where it's all coming from. Elias Pettersson, in the 2 games he has had so far this season, 1 point, as we had said. He's on pace for half a point a game throughout the course of the year, which of course that's probably not going to happen. He'll probably produce more than that. Probably. But in the most recent game, he had 16 minutes and 38 seconds time on ice. In the 5-1 win over Calgary, he had 15:39. Now, you can say that Vancouver won against Calgary, and it was a pretty convincing win, 5-1, so that obviously puts things in a better perspective, like, oh yeah, he got a point and the Canucks won 5-1. We can't complain. But this previous game against Edmonton has gotten everybody off the rails, and for good reason too. Elias Pettersson is the most expensive player on the team, and he should be able to provide play that justifies that dollar amount. When you see a game early on in the season like you saw yesterday where Vancouver just got totally outmatched, they were not good, the only reason it was close is because Thatcher Demko exists. This is where you start to wonder where Elias Pettersson's game really is at, and whether or not he is capable of fulfilling that role. You can ask whether or not the coaching staff believes that he's able to do it too. Take a look at this. Elias Pettersson was the 6th overall forward in terms of ice time last night. Jake DeBrusk, Philip Hedl, Connor Garland, Besser, and Evander Kane all had more minutes than Petey. Now, Evander Kane is in his entire own conversation. There's a bubble that exists to talk about him and his deployment. But Elias Pettersson is a guy that should be played more if he is an $11.6 million player. But then again, you have to ask, was he given fewer minutes because the coach just doesn't like him? Or was he given fewer minutes because he deserved it? I think common consensus from last night's game is that Elias Pettersson was a perimeter guy, that he didn't do too much to actually move the needle, that his defensive play was alright, but you get this guy at 11.6 because you want him to score 100 points a year. This is not the time for Elias Pettersson to still be trying to work it out. And 2 games, not a great sample size in the slightest, but there is room for pessimism here. On Friday's Canucks Central show with Satyr Shah and Dan Riccio, they had themselves Jannik Hansen on as a guest, and Hansen was asked by Shah, what do you think is like the timeline for Elias Pettersson? How long do you think we have to wait before we get ourselves an evaluation as to how he's playing this year? Because of course, 1 game, 2 games, that's not a sample you could really build off of. And Jannik Hansen said something interesting. He was like, yeah, no, I don't want to wait 20 games for Elias Pettersson to become good. I don't want to wait 20 or something games for him to be able to show what he is. He's an $11.6 million player. He was signed to be that. He's shown it in the past. He needs to produce. That's it, plain and simple. And with the Vancouver Canucks in this season, yes, he had a point in the first game. Looked pretty all right in that one. Game yesterday, though, didn't really look all too effective. Didn't get any points. There's a reason why fans are going out there and cautiously backing away from the excitement that is Elias Pettersson's game in 25-26. I mean, it's been 2 games, so obviously no conclusions are to be made, but I'm not going to say that the fan base is not worried, you know? And I guess this is what happens when you watch a game that was so lackluster like yesterday's. Brock Besser scored the only goal, and he also had another chance to get on the score sheet a second time, but he totally missed the net, or I think Connor McDavid got a stick on it or something. Wide open chance in front. Vancouver wasn't really able to negotiate anything with Calvin Pickard. They just kind of tossed pucks towards the goal and they were stopped. And even then so, they didn't have that many shots. So after a game like yesterday's, I think it's easy to see the fans and folks in the fan base start to panic and choose sides as to whom it is they think is good and whom it is they want to see get less ice time and whom it is they want to see get criticized. And I'll admit, you know, I said this video is going to be an Elias Pettersson video. I don't think I ripped into him too hard like others have in various parts of the internet. But if you wanted to do that, hey, the comment section is your floor. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to hit the like button. If you didn't, the dislike button's down there for you too. But if you've got any extra thoughts about Elias Pettersson from last night's game, his deployment, the fact that there were 5 other forwards that played more minutes than him, what are your thoughts on how he was able to move without the puck? What are your thoughts on how this guy created offense, or at least how he tried to create offense? What are the expectations for him heading into Monday's game against St. Louis? And are you optimistic about it? If you had to make a prediction right now, how many points does Elias Pettersson finish the 25-26 season off with? What's your number? Do you think he ends up overtaking his 45 points from last year, or are we chalked, folks? Comments help out with the algorithm, so I'd appreciate it if you got involved there, but I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.